This is such a special traditional Christmas cookie, and it goes by so many names, whether you want to call them angel wing cookies, favorki, chrusciki, or ribbon cookies. They are such a treat. And I'm craving some cookies, so let's get started. To make the dough, we'll start with 6 large egg yolks. Go ahead and separate your eggs, and we just use the eggshell halves to do this. It's super easy. Also, did you know that eggs separate easier when they're cold? It's actually perfect for this recipe because all of the ingredients can come straight from the refrigerator. You don't have to have room temperature anything, which I love because you don't have to pre-plan the recipe. Add your granulated sugar, then use an electric hand mixer to beat that together on high speed for just a minute or until it's lightened in color. If you want, you can also use a stand mixer or just beat it with a whisk. Once it's pale yellow, add your heavy whipping cream. Also add some vanilla extract, and of course we're using homemade, which is just 2 ingredients. I will link to that tutorial in the notes. Add the salt and the melted butter. Beat that together for just another 30 seconds or just until it's combined. Next, add the flour and add that just a little bit at a time, stirring it in between each addition. And when you see that the mixture is getting too thick for the mixer, you can stop mixing with the mixer, and maybe we've gone a little too far here. But no worries, we can save this. You can add that last bit of flour with a spatula. Once that flour is incorporated, you're gonna transfer your dough to a clean work surface. You can also use a flexible food scraper to mix that last bit of flour in. You want the dough to get to a point where it's not sticky at all to the touch. The dough should still feel pliable, kind of like a Play-Doh. So once you get to that texture, turn it out onto your work surface and knead. You only need to knead it for a minute just until your dough is smooth and completely non-sticky. Honestly, this is one of the easiest and most forgiving doughs, and it is so easy to work with. Divide that dough into 4 pieces, and we're gonna cover it up with plastic wrap. Work with 1 piece at a time and keep the rest covered so they don't dry out. Dust your work surface and your dough lightly with flour to make sure that it's not sticking to your rolling pin or your surface. Now roll it out as thin as possible. It should be just a little thicker than a lasagna noodle. Thankfully, the dough is super easy to roll out. To cut the cookies, you can use either a pizza cutter or a ravioli cutter. The ravioli cutter makes them look just a little prettier, but either one will work great. Cut the dough into about 1-inch thick strips, then cut them diagonally into about 4-inch lengths. Also, if you have any scraps, you can add those to the rest of the dough and reuse them. Now cut a 1-inch slit in the center of each piece of cookie dough. Here comes the fun part. To form the cookies, take one end and pull it through that slit in the middle and gently tug to form an angel wing shape. Continue with the rest of the cookies until they are all formed, then transfer them to some kind of baking sheet. I do like to have all of the cookies shaped before I start frying because once you start frying, they cook super fast and you're more likely to burn your cookies if you're distracted. Now here is a shortcut that I love. It saves you some rolling work and makes these cookies twice as fast to make. If you have a pasta roller, use it. Just make sure that dough is well floured and work gradually going from level 8 on down to about a level 3, which is just a little bit thicker than a lasagna noodle. If your dough strips get a little long for your work surface, you can easily cut them in half, then cut them into strips the same way. The beauty of these cookies is they don't have to be perfect, they don't have to be exact. If you have a very long one, you can cut 2 slits and fold from both directions just to give it a more unique shape. When you're close to being done with forming your cookies, you can start preheating your oil. I highly recommend using some kind of clip-on oil thermometer, and I will link to my favorite in the notes, but you want to keep that oil at 370 degrees Fahrenheit. Also have all of your tools ready. We're gonna add about 3 to 4 cookies at a time and turn them after about 15 seconds. As soon as you see them start getting color, turn them over, then remove them with some tongs to a paper towel lined platter to soak off any excess oil. Repeat the process until all of your angel wing cookies are fried. Oh, I'm excited. Cookies for days, actually probably more like minutes. Now listen, okay, this is important. It's like threat level midnight important. Once the powdered sugar is on the cookies, hide them. It's my best advice right now. They're so good and I literally can't stop eating them. Hide them from your family, hide them from yourself until you're ready to serve them because they will disappear in minutes. It's like a sample here, a sample there, and before you know it, you've eaten 20. Don't say I didn't warn you, okay? So we're just going to make a portion for me right now for this taste test because the husband over there, I know he has his eye on these. Layer a few here on my plate. When you're putting these out, I do like to put them out onto a big platter, and as you set them down, dust them with powdered sugar between layers, and be generous here because remember the cookie itself isn't overly sweet. I mean, it has like gentle sweetness, but the powdered sugar is really where the sweetness is at. You can dust both sides, you can dust one side, you know, whatever you like. Let's do both sides. Okay, fine. I think that's a very good idea. When you are eating these, also important, don't breathe. Unless you want to like inhale some powdered sugar, which is fine. Wait, well, no, it's not fine. Here we go. I'm gonna chomp right into these, okay? And keep in mind, if you roll them thicker, they'll be softer, which is fine. If you roll them thinner, they will be crisper, which is how I prefer them, but you know, whatever. Are you ready? I'm ready. I was born ready. It's such a gentle texture. It's initially crisp, but then it just turns into like this crumbly, it's good, okay? And the flavor of the actual cookie is really tasty. It's not just the powdered sugar. This is so, so good. And it just like disappears in your mouth, which is why it's so hard to stop eating them. My daughter ate like 12 of them. Just in passing, like they were on the kitchen counter. I'm telling you, they are dangerous, but they are so good. This is such a treasure of a recipe. Easy to make, even easier if you have a pasta roller, but the dough is really soft and easy to roll out even if you don't. I hope this becomes a new treasured Christmas tradition for you. Total hit with all the kids, with the husband. Everyone who tries this will love it. You can get this recipe on natashaskitchen.com. Also, let me know if you guys have any recipe requests and where you spotted Sharky, and dun, 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 dun. This makes a great gift idea for Christmas or any other special occasions. We have a really good sweet section in here with some cookies that are my mom's cookies that I grew up eating, and she's like famous for them. So mom's famous Chrusciki, which is rugalash, but they are so, so yummy. Also super simple dough, like the easiest thing ever. Worth it just for that one recipe, but there's over 100 recipes in here and it's on a good sale. I will leave a link in the comments to this. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on the next episode of Natasha's Kitchen. Okay, okay. Oh, this is it. Why? Can I just have my moment? I bet you wish you had this. Seriously, they're so good. There's powdered sugar on your shirt.